We do this quarterly. It simply is what the title is. It's coffee, although I already drank all my coffee this morning. Um, it's coffee
I
and
bring a
just
Diet Coke.
casual. Yeah, I have sparkling water. Uh, and coffee and casual conversation.
Yeah.
We yep, we bring in some guest speakers. We have roundtables. We talk about current and hot topics within the residential cleaning industry.
The important part about that, guys, is if you're here, please turn on your cameras. We want to put faces with names and introduce ourselves to each other. Networking is a huge portion of this meeting. So we want to see faces so that we can get to know everybody. And then when we see each other at convention, we will know where we know you from. So
Hey, you're that girl with the hat on. That's how everybody recognizes me.
exactly.
Um, they don't know my name, but they know I got a hat on. Yeah, so that's a great point, Lacey. In life, to get our business to the next level, I think it was Sonia that was just saying she's ready to take her business to the next level. There's two ways to play. You can play as an amateur or you can play as a pro. And as long as it's safe, pros have their cameras on, right? If sometimes we're playing at amateur, we want to see your beautiful faces. Totally been there, but to play pro and to show up, please have your cameras on. We want to see your faces.
And at the end of the call, we will do some breakout rooms. So
Yes.
what we tend to do at the end is the breakout rooms, and I think we'll do a room on membership. So for all of you that are first timers, welcome. We love having you here. Please, feel free to ask questions and to share your experiences as we go through the call. But then we can answer some questions about ISSA membership at the end. So we'd love to, share some more about ISSA and what we offer and how we can help you.
Yeah, and those breakout rooms, guys, are kind of decided by you. We'll do that breakout room for members. We'll also have an AI breakout room so that we can dive deeper on those topics. And if there's anything else that comes up in the conversation, we can form another breakout room. Like if there's a marketing hot topic, or if there's a lot of people that want AI and we have a couple different segments, we can create a couple different breakout rooms, because we're just here to help answer those questions. So we'll get started. Lacey and myself, one of us are always here hosting. And we're also going to be involved in the AI panel. And then we have Sarah. So I was going to let each person introduce themselves and give a little bit of background of how they're using AI in their business and what's kind of their favorite thing about it. While we're introducing ourselves, I want you guys to start putting your questions in the chat. Also, you can unmute and ask your questions. This is more of a panel, like a Q&A, versus just a teach. You guys aren't here to just listen. Let's collaborate. Let's have a conversation. So Sarah, do you want to go first?
Sure. Hi, guys. I'm Sarah Mitchell of Eco Mama Green Clean. I'm here in beautiful Phoenix, Scottsdale, Arizona. We've recently just restructured my entire company and myself through AI. I really, I credit AI a lot to that, and I look forward to sharing some of those strategies with you guys on what I've done to change my entire company and myself over the last quarter.
Awesome. Lacey, you want to go?
Yeah, Lacey Nash. I'm from Clean Squad out of Metro Detroit. Been an ISSA member for quite some time now. A couple years. I don't know. It's not as long as some of you guys, but we use AI mainly to empower our team, both in the office and in the field. We use a lot of custom GPTs to kind of give them Q&A that they can go and access whenever they need to. So that's been a huge resource for our business. Lots of other ways that we use it, but that is a huge resource that we have used in our business. So
awesome. I'll go last. My name is Libby DeLucian. My cleaning company I got one in Florida, and then I have another one in Oklahoma and on the Texas border. And the way I use AI, so I'm not just a cleaning company owner, I'm a software owner as well. And so AI is very, very necessary for us. Like we're even writing code to fix software glitches, issues. So we go with AI. Two things. I love one is, how do we keep our information secure? Because if you're feeding it all of your ideas, you're feeding it to everyone. Granted, the prompt's got to be pretty good to get my ideas recreated back if someone was looking for them. but it's the security around it and what should we be using it, right? What type of chat GPT or what type of platform should we be using? And then also what it's going to do to the future of our companies. The organizational structure is going to collapse. And what does that look like? And I have a worksheet for you guys on that one, but it's one of my favorite topics to talk about. So, as we introduce ourselves, I'm trying to see if there's any, I'm trying to read if there's any questions yet.
Not yet.
Sessions? Not yet. Okay. So you can raise your hand if you can find it. If you have a question, you want to tee yourself up, or we can just type it in the chat, or I can open it up and just let each of us go a little bit deeper. If Sarah wants to go deeper on how she used it to restructure her organization, we're here to answer your questions, guys. And I think Sarah, you could probably just go ahead and go since we don't have any questions.
Okay, I have a lot of different notes on different topics. So I'll start with one and then we'll just kind of see how things flow. But recently, one of the things I started to use AI for was to record our company meetings. And that really helped because a lot of times in the company meetings, a lot of ideas get brought up. A lot of things get brought up. We're bouncing around from subject to subject as streamlined as we try to keep it. And when I started using AI and transcribed it, uploaded it in a ChatGPT, it would organize like the to-dos and who's going to do what. And then we had action items for everybody. But then I took it a step further and I asked, like, how am I showing up as a leader? How am I showing up the way that I want to be seen? And it would tell me, I would ask for percent. I asked for data for everything. I'm like, okay, what percent did I match up to what I wanted to be? And it would say like 96%. And then I would ask, okay, what's the 4% I could do better? So a lot of us started our cleaning companies as cleaners. We added staff. We kind of learned as we were going, and there really wasn't much leadership and CEO coaching. So this has helped me level up as a leader, and I'm finding the areas that I could improve in just by analyzing our meetings and ask, how am I showing up that way? And it's coaching me and telling me advice in the next meeting on how to do it in my leadership style and step up that. And I've noticed like a huge elevation in my leadership style and how people are responding to me since doing things like that.
Topic. There's actually, for all my virtual meeting people, there are some really great tools that will record your meetings, and it'll actually give you the percentage of time you talked. So like I try not to talk over a certain percentage of time. Shut your mouth, Libby. And also it'll give you the feeling or sentiment of each person in that meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're like remote and you do a lot of your meetings on Zoom or AI, and it'll also grade the meetings. I use a lot of them in our coaching. Like it'll grade the meeting. It'll tell you how did they feel. With some of these bigger tools, they'll actually integrate with your CRM or Google Workspace and create your to-dos in your calendar for you, which is like super cool, next level. So definitely a lot of power in, how are we showing up as a leader, keeping us organized and efficient. And again,
yeah, and I do ask like, who's bought in, who's pumped up for the idea I just launched, and who do I need to coach? And it knows. It's like so and so is ready to go. This person might have some hesitation, so then I know it's things that I can't pick up on, like as a person, that it can pick up on. So it's a very powerful tool for that one little thing.
Yeah.
And so we had a few people, actually a lot of people just show up. And so I just want to recap. We're just giving kind of some of our best practices with AI. Sarah, myself, and Lacey. For those that just showed up, put your questions in the chat or get ready. Just unmute, raise your hand. And you guys are more than free because we just had like another 10 people, I think, show up, or 6 people join. And we'll make sure that we address these.
We do have some questions.
Yes.
Holly was asking for actual tool names, so that would be a good resource for them to be able to go out there and look at them.
Okay, I actually gathered some up for you guys.
Cool. Sarah, do you want to share any of the tool names that you use for your AI tools?
So just for the last thing I talked about, recording meetings to see how I showed up as a leader, see who's bought in and create to-dos. I use Plod Recorder and then I upload the transcript to ChatGPT. But there's been times it runs out of battery fast and there's times I've forgotten it. And if you have an iPhone, voice recorder comes in clutch. So you just hit voice recorder and transcribe and upload that. I don't know what it does on other phones, but the voice recorder on the iPhone has been an amazing tool just for that one subject that we're on now.
There is a desktop version of Plod, Sarah, that you can
Oh.
run on your computer.
Sweet. Nice.
And then somebody had a question regarding ISSA tools. We will talk about that in a breakout session about membership. So Sonia, thanks for the question. We'll address that in a little bit. Another AI question, are there AI solutions tailored specifically to the cleaning industry or cleaning professionals? Michael asked.
I mean, I think there might be a few I've seen float around. But the great thing with AI, like Sarah said, is that if you create your own, you can feed it your own information. Because even if it's tailored directly to cleaning, it may not be as applicable as it could be if you fed it your data, your information to create your own custom GPT bots. I did drop a document in the chat for it's an AI tool stack for the AI tools that we use, how we use them, whether it's personal, business, relationships. This is current as of April because it changes like by the day.
Let me see. Heather asks, what are some practical ways small residential cleaning companies can start using AI without a huge budget or tech team?
Lacey, don't you empower your office to do that?
Yeah, we actually use custom GPTs a lot. What we do is we take a lot of our SOPs that we have internally, or even just like scripts that we want used on the phone. We've also taken our playbook, our field playbook, and put it into a custom GPT. And then what we do is we train the model to answer any questions that the team has. It's really good for field teams, but it's also really, really good for the office because you can set the tone that you want those interactions to sound like, which means that like, you know, oftentimes training an office person to have that tone or to understand exactly how you speak to your clients in your voice is a really difficult thing to do. But if you train the custom GPT when they ask the question to as they're empowered in their role, they don't have to keep coming to you to get those answers. They can just ask them as they need. It's going to give them an answer in your company's tone, which is really nice because they don't have to make it up. And the more they do it, the more it becomes their tone. So that's a huge one. It really just ChatGPT and in general is a huge resource for, you know, and it's pretty, I would say it's pretty cost effective when you use it across your team.
Absolutely. We have a question for Sarah, and it is, how do you ensure meeting details are secure and not made public when using ChatGPT?
Well, we use the enterprise version, which is a bit more secure, and we also turn off the data sharing option, so that helps us with there. And I think you guys can go in a little bit further on how the enterprise is more secure. We were just talking about that.
Yeah, so with ChatGPT, we have the free version, the paid version, and the enterprise version. Free version is free. Paid version, I think, was $20 the last time I checked. And then the enterprise version is $60 a person. You know, if you're feeding free versions or even the personal paid version, you are putting your information out there. And it is just feeding the model, right? With the enterprise version, you can secure your information. You can choose to not feed like the model, and it stays within your organization. The other cool thing with the enterprise version is you can connect it to your Google Drive and it can pull from your drive. So that's really, really cool. And then it also kind of builds itself within that enterprise version. Granted, $60 a person can be a little costly. But, you know, just make sure that you choose the one that works for you best. And the one thing I have to say about security when it comes to this is you have to make sure that you're not putting things in ChatGPT and asking it questions that you wouldn't. They're using an unpaid version or a paid version. If you're asking discriminatory recruiting questions or gender questions, or because if anything was to happen, like a labor issue, your ChatGPT history can be subpoenaed just like email and text message. That is the new future. So don't be asking it one like how to kill somebody and get away with it, or don't be asking it something that you would never ask either like an email or openly, because it is, if you're taken to court, you're sued, it can be it will be pulled, just like email communication.
We do have a hand up, Michael, if you want to unmute and ask your question.
Hey, thanks for the opportunity. I asked the question in the chat earlier about, AI solutions tailored to the cleaning industry. And the reason I asked is I have a IT background, and now I run an IT-based cleaning company. And what we found, even when I use ChatGPT, most times I have to do some things to make it much more useful to me, because it's almost like you have to be a developer knowing how to put in requirements, right, to get the output you need. So what we've done in our case is actually we have designed a tool based on OpenAI's API, right? And I don't know if you've heard of Scrub, but Scrub actually is a marketing AI tool tailored specifically for cleaners. If you asked it anything outside cleaning, it's going to say, I can't do that, right? Helps with pricing. And what we're trying to do now is loop in the government contracting API we were building, lead search, into the Scrub tool. But I think what that helps us do is that it kind of moves away from the phase one of AI, which is ask me, tell me what you want me to do, to, hey, we think we know you. We think you're trying to make X amount this month. This is what we think you should do this week. This is the kind of promo we think you should do. These are local events happening in your area. We think you should put your messaging out this way. So you're in there thinking as a cleaning company. And I would say this and shut up. So Stripe had a Stripe session last week, I think in San Francisco. And I was there just to understand how these industry giants were using AI. And now I think they're looking at the best way to really, they're thinking AI will improve GDP for folks generally. And we think the only way to make AI do that, especially in a 150 billion industry, which is the cleaning industry, is to have specialized tools that can really speak to your needs. And we have Scrub out there. You can try it for 2 weeks if you want. But I just wanted to share that because we think that is much more useful to us in that sense. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
Great, great info.
We do have another question. Have you seen AI actually reduce operating costs or increase profit margins in any measurable way? And can you share some examples?
That was for Michael, right?
It's just a general question.
So I dropped a doc in so that you guys can look at the future, and this would help answer your question about operational efficiency when it comes to AI. If you tried to access it a second ago, I had to adjust the setting, so it's available now. It's going to compress an org chart, and if you're not, if you're just the one using AI and you're not teaching your team to use it, it stops at you. You're the bottleneck.
Yep.
So we have like Tech Tuesdays. What are some fun ways that you used AI this week? This Tuesday with our class that helps the filter of AI. When I first, I had the benefit of being in Dan Martell's private SaaS group, and we got introduced to AI before it was even public. And sitting here, I was sitting in a conference, like watching this happen. And the first thing I did was I told all of my office team, go sign up right now. Like, use your work emails, go sign up right now. And for us, this was really big because my office staff was, one was my mom in there. She works in the office. She heads HR and recruiting. But they didn't know what this thing was. And I said, I don't care if you like it. I don't care. It will make your job easier, right? It's not going to steal your job right now. It's going to make it easier. And like my office team, even though they're not techie, even though like they love paper, like they love ChatGPT. So for us, it was really like, okay, how do we make them more efficient? So one of the ways we do it also is we measure our cost, our revenue per employee, right? This is the future of tracking how profitable, how efficient is your company. Measure your revenue per employee. And yes, this even counts with cleaners. How can we make them more efficient by giving them tools to be faster? This way we can generate more revenue with less people. Also, companies that have higher revenue per employee are more successful, more profitable, and can grow faster because it's less overhead, less admin, and less management. But for us, I just hired somebody today and they're onboarding. And if you're not comfortable with AI and you don't already have some knowledge, I'm not hiring those people anymore if they don't. It's kind of like when we hire someone for our office, they have to know how to answer the phone. They have to know how to talk on the phone. And if they're resistant to it, it's going to start happening where we're going to have to start laying off people who don't want to use it because it's the way of the future. And so I got into an argument on the BSCIS stage with somebody about this topic, about the compression of it. And if you're not willing to use it, you probably can't work for me. And that's the way the future I see of the org chart happening. It's going to compress. AI gives us the ideas. It still needs people to execute those, but we still need people to use it within our organization. And so it's going to be as common as like, hey, you have to know how to turn on a computer, right? When we hire somebody, they have to know how to use our software and our CRM. Now it's like, hey, tell me what you know about AI and tell me how much you've used it is now what we use in our interview process and in our hiring, because they have to know how to use it. Because if they don't, they're slow. They're too slow. And your competitors are using it. Whether you're in cleaning or in software, it doesn't matter. Everyone in your, it's got to be a culture of AI.
Too, when you go back, like, if you don't have a CRM that's giving you your efficiency of your team, or, really drilling into that revenue dollar and what that is per technician, AI could definitely scrub that data for you and give you some metrics to use for KPIs for your organization. You could also take your SOPs and throw it into ChatGPT or an AI tool and say, hey, assess this for operational inefficiencies. It will look through it and say, I think you have room for error, there's room for error here, or this is not clear, or this doesn't seem efficient. You're asking them to multi-process the surface, and then as an owner, you can say, okay, well, do we need them to do that or not? So necessarily measurable. I think, Libby probably could speak more to the measurable ways with which you use AI in your organization. But I think just in general, operationally, it's a huge tool to be able to reassess what you're doing and find those gaps.
Yeah,
Sarah,
I don't have a data metric for that because I've just, as I mentioned earlier, rebuilt my entire team using AI. So I got into AI. I've been using it for years, but I really started learning how to utilize chat at the end of last year and use it to restructure my team. So I don't have any hard data, but the level of people on my team now has increased, their efficiency has increased, and we do run everything through AI. So one of the tools that I wanted to bring up that I've done with ChatGPT is for a week, I kept on, and if you're not using the voice on your ChatGPT, you need to use the voice. So I kept the chat open and I would just say, hey, I just spent 15 minutes on email, set it down all day, every day for a week. And it told me how I was using my time and then what was delegatable that I'm wasting my time doing that I could pay someone else. So I'm having my team start to do that too. It's a little harder to get them to remember to do that, but it's finding the operational inefficiencies and guiding you on how you can streamline that, making your whole team more efficient and being able to respond faster. So overall, I don't have a number for it, but it absolutely can save time and increase profits for sure.
I think in that same vein, like Sarah's saying, though, if you're not talking to ChatGPT, you're missing a huge opportunity, because how I would type a message is going to be much different than how I might just say it verbally. The other thing too with that is, we go to ChatGPT to have it scrub data or give us answers. But what we really need to consider is that as humans, we don't have all the answers. And there are so many blind spots that we have not even begun to think of. So when you engage ChatGPT in that way, you should very much so be saying, this is the task that I want to do. I'm not really sure where all the gaps are. Here's where I kind of want to go, but please advise me, because it is going to tell you where the gaps are, where the inefficiencies are, and where you have room for improvement. And you can just keep going back to it and scrubbing it until you get something that is really well rounded and has thought about all the things that you didn't think of, because computers do that, so that's huge too. Talking to it is massive. You definitely need to be doing that.
Yeah, and as an example, we just got a building. We just bought a building for our company, and they needed so much stuff from us. Getting an SBA loan is so hard. So they're like, "Hey, we need your 5-year business plan right now." And I didn't really have a solid 5-year business plan. So I picked up the phone. I told ChatGPT all my goals, all my ambitions, where I want to be personally, where I want to be in my business, and within 5 seconds, I had a whole business plan that passed the SBA standards of a business plan. That would have taken me hours to write out. So that's just one example. Like, I just sat there and said, "Hey, I need this." And it's actually the business plan I'm using, because it has my personal goals, it has my professional goals. And now ChatGPT knows my goals and is helping hold me accountable to those. But it passed SBA banking, and that's huge, because if anyone's trying to get one of those loans, it's not easy.
Well, and honestly, they used to have attorneys that would do that for you.
Yeah.
You used to have to pay an attorney for that. It's a huge resource. We have a couple other questions. Did you want to say something?
Something on, oh yeah, on the operate. I have something on the attorney. I have an attorney AI tool. So if you don't want to pay an attorney, it's created and ran by attorneys, so that you can get like legal compliant things. I can get that for you guys. I just remembered it. I don't think it's on my sheet. We actually have a process to how we look at operational efficiency, and it's actually going to be in my book. I'm dropping the link to the pre-order in the book, but what we do is we do a time audit. So for 5 days, we have our employees track everything they do, right? For 5 days. This is very simple. Anybody can do it. Track it for 5 days. We have the little forms that they fill out. And then we have a prompt that we run it through, and it tells us how efficient each employee is and how much time they're wasting, how much time they're spending leading, managing, learning. When we run it through that prompt, the 5 days, you have to do more than one day. And then from there, we have this process called the day in the life of. And it's a series of questions that we then ask after we've done that day in the life of. And it's a day in the life of, and it's recorded. So the day in the life of takes about an hour to 2 hours to complete. It's a one-to-one kind of interview. From the phone interview. Oh, sorry. And the day in the life of interview, and it gives us an entire operational efficiency breakdown of each person. We do this quarterly, and each company, you will be disgusted and awed by the amount of inefficiency that you currently have in your company. So these are great things to do with AI, and it's very simple. A day, like a time audit, start there, track, tell everyone, every time you change a task, write it down, tell how time you started, time you ended, every time they switch a task. That's where at least you could start. That would give you so much clarity on team efficiency. You're going to see like inefficiencies in software and handing off tasks and like, hey, we pay for this software, nobody uses it, they haven't logged into it in 5 days. You're going to see all these things that are super powerful that you could actually, you don't need more people, you don't need more processes. It's almost like you need to get efficient by process of elimination, by deleting things and deleting those inefficiencies.
Simplifying it. We do have a question. Holly asked, are there any workshops to attend on AI that we can take, or educational opportunities besides this awesome one? I have a feeling I'm going to want more. Libby, I know you've attended some, yeah?
So I'm an EO. So EO hosts their own AI workshops. Unfortunately, they're not open to the public. You have to be an EO member, because I try to get my sister-in-law to go, and you can't, like, you have to be an EO member. So I've been through several through EO, and then again, I have a slight advantage being in software. Holly, you're in the same group as Dan, but the group has changed tremendously since Dan left. And so that's where I got the other part of the AI that I really learned and access to some of those people.
Sarah, have you attended any training or?
Not, I think that we're going to see a lot pop up in the next couple months. I think it's going to be a really big opportunity to have some AI trainings. But I'm going to tell you guys something that might sound a little cheesy. How I learned how to use it and streamline my knowledge on it was actually TikTok. I went on TikTok. I learned how to start using it the way I wanted to. And through TikTok, I discovered ChatGPT and how to use it. And then ChatGPT is teaching me how to use it. So there are ways until you find that, which I believe by fall, we're going to see a lot of opportunities of places you can learn it. But until that, you can ask ChatGPT, like, how do I best use this to accomplish this goal? All the answers are really right there.
Ask AI to educate you.
Yes.
For sure.
Perfect.
Another great resource too is you can use it to do deep learning. Have you guys used it? I know Libby probably has. Sarah, have you used it to do deep learning, Holly?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
haven't. I mean, I have a little bit, but not.
You can
not,
go out online and find a transcript of a book, and you can throw
Yeah.
it into GPT and say, deep learn on this topic. I want to execute the principles of this book in my company, and how can I best do that? It will give you all the bullet points. It's like Cliff Notes version and exactly step by step what you need to do in order to make sure you execute it within your company.
Oh, that's
So-
a good idea. I'm sure my kids know how to do it. I'll just
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah,
I'll ask them.
find a teenager. Find a teenager.
Yeah.
We'll teach
They
you.
definitely know how to pass
Poor
high school
teacher.
using it, for sure.
Poor teachers these days. I don't even know how they
Seriously.
know if it's the kid or not.
My
But
kid actually got in trouble for using AI in school, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not even upset about it. I'm not even upset.
mine too. I was like, well,
Just
it's
give
a
them a
tool.
VPN and then they won't get caught.
I was actually really,
Like,
really
here you
proud of
go.
it. So
Michael has another question, or his hand's up.
Thank you again. I thought I had my hand up before. I had an example of the operational value from ChatGPT to share, if that's okay. So one of the ways we actually use ChatGPT or OpenAI to make money, right? We know we handle our businesses very well, but we're looking at functional areas around our operations and saying, how much are we paying for this thing? And with the capabilities that AI brings to the table, how can we, improve that? So one of the, actually, I'll back up, 2021 really scraped off like $9,000 in marketing write-up for my company upfront. But what we did recently, and with our tool, Scrub, is normally we pay, there's a part of our company's operations where we pay a team to take our calls and respond to customers based on their calls and SMS and all of that. And it was about $350 per month, right? So when we started exploring how AI could help, with what we're building in Scrub, what we've done now is we've set up a kind of API using some additional mechanisms where if you tried to call us now and we weren't answering the phone, you're not just getting a voicemail. We've trained they call it the assistant module in AI. We've trained the assistant to look what that call is about. So if you call to say, I'm trying to get a job with you, the AI will respond to you with something like, oh, we like that you're interested in vehicle builders. This is the link to sign up, and you have more questions, you can go to this. And it's contextual, right? If you're trying to set up business with us, or maybe you set up some partnership with us, it responds to you differently. So $350 gone. In a minute, we have AI, as I'm talking, where if you try to call us and we're not at the phone call, now we have something much more intelligent that understands our business and that studies these interactions on and off to improve itself, because that's also one of the value of AI. It has something called memory, where it begins to train itself as much as it uses your business or learns from you and then tailors responses. So that's like $500 gone that way. So then in terms of margin, we do government contracting as well. I don't know if anybody does government contracting here, but one of the pain points of government contracting is, how do I price when someone else has had this contract before and I'm interested in doing that janitorial work? How do I price? right? So one of the things we've done is done pricing intelligence, where now we don't need to chase the incumbent's pricing away. Our AI tool does that for us, and now we're able to much more go competitively into these transactions, and we have some contracting awards under our belt just by leveraging AI that way. One more thing I would say, I think the approach, especially for janitors and cleaners, is really to kind of try to integrate AI into their normal tools of using, which is maybe SMS chats, make it easier for them to use it. It's hard. Even I have a lot of people in IT sitting high up there. You think they're going to use AI. They don't use AI because it's overwhelming to get value out of it, right? So, but that's all I got to share. Thanks for the opportunity.
So
Thank you.
one of the things I love about AI is that you can use it differently. When you said like to answer the phone, I'm one of those that I screw with the AI when it's an AI phone call. I will ask it the same question over and over and over because I refuse to talk to an AI on the phone. So I'm over there like asking it dumb questions, feeding it. But like I love operational efficiency when it comes to AI. But the thing is, like, there's so much you can do with it. But I think it's like you just mentioned, Michael, it's overwhelming to you, to me, to our staff.
Yeah.
Just keep it super basic and only use it for the things that you're comfortable with at first.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I don't want it answering my phones yet, but I want it to make my employees more efficient so we can answer the phones and give like an exceptional experience.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes that human interaction is still important. We're not quite there with the AI yet.
Yeah.
Jennifer, you have your hand up.
I do. And I feel silly only because I thought that I was really good at AI and did not think of all the reasons and the ways to use AI. But so I, like Libby, have a cleaning business that runs out of 4 states and also do other things. So my day job is I work in insurance and run a program that sells to janitorial companies. And like I'm sure anyone that is involved in a lot of different things, you're sometimes like, am I doing everything efficiently, or how can I do this better? So I literally will sometimes go into ChatGPT and say, okay, I do this and I do this, and how can I do it in more efficiently or effectively, and come up with a schedule for someone that does all these different things. Like I've used it 100 different ways, and I learn from it so much every time. Where again, we all waste time, or we do things that we shouldn't be doing that AI can help us with. But another way that I've really found is marketing, asking. I didn't think about the way to get the girls in the office to use it, but for marketing, it can connect to Canva and can create things for you. And, I'm a big believer, we still need to be creative, right? So it's not always going to have our exact voice, but you can rewrite things in your own voice or tweak it a little bit. But yeah, I'm so like obsessed with it, but I feel like I'm new to the game. So I'm loving all these ideas that everyone's implementing.
Thanks, Jennifer.
One thing to mention is I think that a lot of us, it's a lot of ChatGPT talk, but it's actually putting your business in a vulnerable spot if you're only using ChatGPT or if it's your primary. Just like anything, you can't have all your eggs in one basket. So you need to make sure that you're also sampling like Grok, Gemini. I think Gemini is going to beat ChatGPT very, very soon. If you've seen the new integrations with Gemini, it does everything. It reads your entire calendar now. Like you don't even need to feed to ChatGPT no more because Gemini is now integrated with your calendar and your workspace. And if you're using Google Chat with your employees, there will be no more feeding it. I think that's why it's going to beat it soon. But make sure we're not putting all of our eggs in that one basket and only learning and using one. We kind of need to diversify.
Yeah. We have a question about marketing efforts. It says, how can AI help personalize marketing efforts like email campaigns or social media content for local customers?
Oh my God, it's amazing.
I guess I can go here for a little bit and we can rotate. If it really knows your message, your core values, your target audience, it can absolutely customize those messages to reach the people you want to reach versus just having a generic marketing campaign going out to reaching everybody. So the more niche you can get with it, the more it can create those campaigns and tell you how to respond, how to write ads in order to attract those people that you want. So it is a really powerful tool for marketing.
Yeah. One suggestion, like Sarah just said, feed it. But you also have the ability to set up your profile right on the back end. From all the classes I've taken and what I've learned, they suggest you don't do that. Because when you're asking it other questions, it can interfere with the output. It can
Yeah, kind
interfere
of
with your
going
marketing.
back to like what I said earlier about like asking and letting it inform. Sometimes when you drill it into a certain bottleneck, it just gets stuck there and you have to go back and say, nope, take that out, you know? So yeah, like you said, Libby, I think too, sometimes not setting that up is good because it opens you up for more.
And I think creating the custom GBT would be helpful here because then you can feed in all the information on your client avatar and you can keep all that in one area. And so that would be a great place to keep the marketing information.
Yeah, if you guys aren't happy with your output of ChatGPT in the document I dropped, your prompts need to be 400 to 500 words long, not just like make me a marketing campaign. It's like, hey, I'm in residential cleaning. I'm located in Fort Myers. We're locally owned and operated. Like it needs to have all that. Because if you just put in like 2 sentences, it's kind of like the garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
You have to give it like extreme detail to get the value out of it. There is it's called the God of Prompts. It's a really good subscription. And what it does is it gives you prompts that then you feed into ChatGPT if you're trying to achieve something. And these prompts are absolutely mind-blowing. It's a really great tool, but if you don't like what you're getting, it's what you're putting in it.
And if you're just starting out and prompts are a little bit over your head right now, what's amazing is the talking to. And I know we talked about that a little earlier, but I really want to reiterate the power of talking to your ChatGPT. Because one thing I do is I'll brain dump for 5-6 minutes. I think the cutoff is 10 minutes, but 5-6 minutes, I'll just brain dump it all. And it's gathering that information. That's just more data for it. It's a lot more than I could have just written. And the more information you get, you can just make it as messy as possible, just brain dump word vomit, and it's going to put it together and it's going to know what you need. It's going to know what you want, and it's going to organize that information and get you your result. And if it's not the result you want, you just keep doing it until you get there.
Yeah, and I think too, during those talking sessions, they're like therapy sessions, let's be real. It's gathering your
Isn't ChatGPT so nice to you, right? When it responds after you talk.
I tell it not to
Libby,
be
that's
nice
a great
to me.
idea. I'm like,
Yeah, I tell it
thank
not to
you.
be nice to me though.
Yeah.
I tell it like be
Me
raw,
too.
real honest, But I think too, like you said, Sarah, like while you're doing that, it is gathering your tone, it is gathering your goals, it's gathering, it's matching what you're saying to your company directives and where you're trying to go. And it's saying like, okay, cool, that's in alignment. Let's do this to get there. Like it's really interesting, but talking to it is huge. It really is.
From an owner perspective, how many of us have been to a conference and man, the information is so great, but you can't remember it. And you're like, I can't fit no more in my head. So what I do is I just leave my phone voice recording on the table. And I mean, I recorded like an hour and 45-minute keynote on my iPhone. I left the room. I went and had a drink, came back, ran it through ChatGPT and told it to give me like the bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I just did. I was at a 5-day conference with these high-end speakers and I just recorded the whole thing. I listened too, but I recorded it so I had the action items and the notes and stuff that my brain couldn't process all that information.
Awesome. What other questions do we have?
Let me see.
Let's see.
So I can say a lot of
go
people
ahead.
think that AI, and I've even had these comments before that make me so mad when I'm talking about AI and they're like, why don't you just learn to write your own stuff? Why don't you use your own brain? I'm like, this is so much more. So the real power of AI is when it becomes a mirror and amplifier of how you want to run your company. So I use mine as a strategic thinking partner. And ever since I've used it in that way, I'm able to move through roadblocks a lot faster than I could before. Like I do think in a really strategic way, but I needed something to challenge me and mirror me and help streamline those ideas faster. So ChatGPT is really can help you take the process from like the vision to the execution a lot faster. And not just ChatGPT, like Libby mentioned, any of the AIs can take you from vision to execution a lot faster, like probably 10 times at least, maybe 100 times faster than you could without these tools.
Yeah.
One thing to mention is that it is wrong. I just
Mhm.
want everybody to know that it is wrong all the time and pretty often, especially
with
if you're
math.
working with math or dates. Okay. Like blah, blah, blah. And they're like, next Tuesday, the 17th. I'm like, Tuesday's not the 17th. Because it is being fed crap as well, guys. Like it is being fed by the world, and the world isn't correct. So make sure that when you are running things through there and it is giving you strategic thinking or dates for marketing campaigns, that you proofread it.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
math is what kills me. I'm like, you're a computer. Like, kills me.
Sometimes I'll use it to write code or formulas for Excel, and I'm like, cool, give me this code, whatever. I throw it out there and then it doesn't work. And I'm like, what the
Doesn't work.
basic stuff? Like it's input in and output, like, but it makes things wrong sometimes. I do have a couple other questions. Let's see. Have you seen AI help with training or onboarding cleaning staff more effectively? And what tools are making an impact in that area?
I haven't used it for the field yet. That's on my next to do, but I recently rebuilt my entire operational team in the office, and it did help with that. It knew their personality style and the type of training that they needed, the type of onboarding they needed. I just hired a strategic operations manager, which is also my integrator, and it's somebody who's different than hiring someone who needs micromanaging, needs all the answers. So I was like, how do I onboard her? How do I train her without being micromanaging? Because this is a new position that has a lot of autonomy. So it's guiding me through the process of that. And I do want to figure out how to bring that into the field, but I replaced three roles in my office in the last quarter using AI to help choose the people and learn about them and their styles. And so it's really helped me get the right people in the right seats and know their styles for onboarding and learning, because each one needed a different style. And that's not something that my brain could have picked up. I needed AI to guide me through that.
Yeah, I did it recently to
Yeah.
hire a VA. We've never hired a VA. And so we were hiring for our first one. And I was really anxious about it because it is an impact to my office, right? We have to train them and figure out. So I took all of their resumes and their phone, like that, how they do those intro interviews or whatever. I took them all, I uploaded them into ChatGPT. I said, this is a job description. This is what I'm looking for. And it scrubbed all the candidates and determined where their strengths and weaknesses were. And it gave me interview questions for them so that I could challenge them and figure out, are they going to be a good fit for our culture? So definitely a huge resource in that area. It's able to take those candidates that you would otherwise personalize and make them a black and white on paper type of situation, which is sometimes hard as human beings, right? So that was huge for sure.
So for in the field, we have we have a custom made app that all of our playbooks are housed in there for the cleaning technicians, from best practices to what do I do if I break down, to how do I show up to a house, how do I enter a house. We have all of that fed into a bot so that they can simply ask the question and it gets delivered to them. And then in our office, we have a conversational AI, so they can ask it like, hey, how do I reschedule somebody? It's like an Alexa, but it's on their, it's a Chrome profile on their computer. And so AI will deliver them the answer, like that playbook on, hey, this is how you reschedule somebody.
Oh, that's good. There is a follow-up question to what Sarah just talked about regarding hiring her office team. It says, how does AI learn their personalities and styles?
Oh, I love this. So in the past, I've had a lot of misalignment, and it's led me to the point where I was really getting depressed in my business because I felt like I wasn't hitting my goals. I wasn't doing what I wanted. So I was really intentional about, I want the right people in the right seats, and I want to hit these goals. So what's going to make that happen? And this all started with a brain dump conversation with chat. And so I analyze a lot of data. If there's anything that's analyzable, we analyze it. So after we analyze, of course, the resume to make sure they're a right fit. And then I use ChatGPT and I say, can you create you can use whatever. We use jot form questions that they can answer. Then you can analyze that to see if it works. So then we analyze their jot form questions. And then I'm running all the emails through it, all the conversations, the interview. So has so much data. It's amazing what it can, if you have 3 or 4 pieces of data, it can look for the consistency also. Because I've hired people before that show up one way and then they're a total different person. So we're looking for consistency. So it's learning their personality through as much data as I can feed it. And that's even just like copying and pasting the emails. It's learning their personality, knows a lot about them. We run like DISC assessment through it. And that's how it guides me because it learns so much about them.
Awesome. Are we up on time? Almost. We got 3 more minutes until
I have one last
our-
question. We can throw that out
Okay.
there before 11:25 or 12:25. Can AI help monitor quality control or customer satisfaction after service has been delivered? And if so, how?
Well, like Sarah said, you have to have the data to feed it. So somehow you would have to get input or feedback from the customer.
Yeah. You
Um,
could very well, we get scorecards in our CRM. You could very well take those scorecards, those submissions, and import them into ChatGPT or Gemini, as well as maybe call recordings for, service calls. So that could definitely, I would say, give you some data.
if you have a scorecards or you're using things like Made Central or QDS, you could import all of your information. And instead of asking it for a specific like outcome from the customer, you could ask it like, what are our weaknesses? What do we need more training in? What are we great at? If you fed it all, you can even feed it all of your Google reviews and do that as well. It will give you like areas of weakness or strength, or like, hey, my next training should be focused on what based off this information.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, I think we are going to do a breakout room for membership and then maybe one with Sarah. Erin, you're muted.
Oh,
I totally know I am. I was started talking and sorry. That was a really good discussion. I like getting as input from the audience as well. So thank you. We can do, I will set up the breakout rooms in just a second. I did want to throw out there that we have, I was looking for the breakout rooms easily. Where are they?
I see them.
Oh, they're there. I have a different, okay. We have at ISSA, and I know that Holly had asked earlier, what do we have for AI? And we, pre-sale has just opened up for the ISSA show. So if you are a member of ISSA, you would have received an email this week that pre-sale is open. And so if you plan to attend the ISSA show and you are a member, this is the lowest price that you can register for. So I would find your email. If you didn't receive an email and you are a member, reach out to our membership team and they can get that information get sent to you. But that has gone out this week. Registration will open up for everybody, probably it's usually that first full week of June, that should open up. And so that'll go out in June, but right now it is members only. So if you didn't receive that email, reach out to our membership team, and I highly encourage you to attend the show. I've never talked to anybody that has attended the show that regretted it. There is just so much going on at the show. I feel like it's almost like a baptism by fire because there's sessions all the time. We have the trade show floor with over 600 exhibitors. We have education on the trade show floor as well. And we have a number of networking opportunities.
Awesome. Before we go into breakouts, if anybody's interested, do you mind, Erin, if I drop the link to my kids' book?
No, go ahead and drop that link, and I'm going to drop a link in as well. We have always have some education opportunities going on. We have a members only mastermind coming up in June. And I was going to say, I would also ask that group, if you are a member of ISSA and have attended the masterminds, part of what they talk about at these groups are your pain points or learning and sharing best practices. So if you're a member of ISSA, I encourage you to attend the members only mastermind and That way you can start to, find out how others are using it and share what you're using. That is June 3rd. We also have a HCT class coming up in June, and then we have another coffee and conversation in July. We're going to feature some of our speakers from the ISSA show. But I will put a link in here to all our
Oh,
residents.
thank you, Lacey.
It's so cute. Libby's children's book is adorable. If you don't have it and you have
Yep.
kiddos, get it.
Yeah, we wrote a kid's book
Yeah.
on how to run a cleaning company.
Yes.
Yeah. It's super
Go
cute.
ahead, Libby, if you want to say something about it. It's super cute.
No, I just dropped the link. So if you have kids or no kids, or if you want to give them to your cleaners, it'd be a great gift because it's about the story of how hard it is to grow and scale a cleaning company and how important cleaning is as a
Yeah.
job. It's a real job.
I was
I
reading
wrote
it
it-
going, yes, this is exactly it. This is exactly the
Right?
more I
And,
got
like,
into it. I was
every
like,
time you
this
flip the
is
page, you're like,
exactly-
oh yeah.
It's really cute.
All right.
And my daughter did the voiceover. So if you buy it at that website, you see the trailer, and then there's a read aloud, like an Audible, but it's my daughter's voice reading it aloud. It was a fun project to do with your kids to just show them how important that we are a real business as a cleaning company.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love it. Okay, well, I can open the breakout rooms now. Again, we have our next coffee and conversations July 10th. We have a members only mastermind on June 3rd. You can get to all of our residential events from the link I put in the chat. And we'll do an AI room. I know Sarah, and if you would be able to answer any questions and further discuss with AI. And then anybody that has questions about membership can join Lacey in the membership room. And if you need help getting to the room, I can help.